right. Are you want to do this? Or are we just going to jump into it?
Yeah, let's see how we do.
Okay. Well, I guess the opening question I have for you is, do you think that you're more of a Thelma or more of a Louise?
Oh,
Do you
that's
remember
tough.
who's who?
For a half second, I was like, wait a minute. Louise is Susan Sarandon.
Yes, I think between the two of us, if you and I have to choose roles, right? I think I'm Louise and you're Thelma.
I would have to agree
Okay, I
100%.
just feel like you're a
Yeah.
little bit more fun-loving, carefree, and I'm a little bit more severe.
I'm a little wild. I give
Yeah, you
you,
are. You're a little out
yep.
of control sometimes.
Uncapped, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I learned quickly.
Well, you sure do. Boy, do you ever. If you're a fucking Thelma, good Lord, that girl. She goes, huh?
Yeah, it's almost like her life started 10 minutes before the movie started.
Ooh, boy. Oh God. All right. Well, let me introduce the show. We can get into everything, right?
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone, to Film School Dropouts. My name is James, and I'm here with my co-host Brent.
AKA Thelma Louise.
Well, yeah, this is Thelma and Louise. Yep. God, well, how do I do this? It's been so long. Is this something like, oh, we cover?
Like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, wait, we
Wait,
do that
no,
at the
that's the
end.
that's the end. Stop. No, it's something like, oh, this show's about we cover directors and stuff like that, right? That's what I say.
I think it's filmographies. We don't cover the actors.
We've already forgotten the entire format of the show. Yeah. We cover directors' filmographies. As long as they aren't David O. Russell, get fucked.
Oh,
Gone. Gonzo. Boom.
hamster, no.
Hamster fucking no thank you. Hamster slit that throat. Goodbye. Um, I guess I can lump him in with like the sex offenders pile, honestly. That we'll just throw him into that pile.
Absolutely not. No.
I mean, he's got allegations against him.
Oh, then yes, we can.
Did you not know this?
No, I didn't.
Brent rushing to the defense. Yeah, no, he's got.
I just thought he was an asshole on set.
Well, he is that, and also his niece allegedly was assaulted by him. So fuck that guy. And his movies aren't even that good. Get fucked, fucking
Well,
asshole. I didn't see.
I'm gonna still fight for him though.
What? No. Hold on a second. I understand you fighting for some people, but come on now.
Guess what? It's him and Bryan Singer. They're back.
God. Yep. Kicking off the new year right. Thanks a lot, Brent. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah, we did. We haven't recorded in like 6 months, but that's my fault.
That's all right. We're still
Yeah.
talking about Ridley Scott.
Jesus. Yeah, I feel regret. I'm gonna say that right now. I feel regret for picking Ridley Scott. I think I've bit off a bit more than I can chew.
Oh, I'm still chewing and I'm still
My
swallowing.
eyes were a bit too big for my stomach, I think.
Well, I don't like what this is indicating about our
Oh,
movie.
no.
We're talking about it today.
Has nothing to do with our movie that we're talking about today, I promise.
Okay.
I feel a little overwhelmed by the sheer volume of movies that we have to cover.
It's a
And
lot.
the sheer volume of movies that are like firmly in like 2.5 to 3 star territory that he's made, where I'm like,
Oh,
okay, all right. Like he's got like a banger every decade, and then we got to get through the rest of the decade or whatever. All right, I'm
those
sorry.
bangers.
They're good. Okay, so yeah, we're in the middle of covering the films of Ridley Scott's first half of his career. We're doing the 20th century films all the way up until Gladiator, and we're getting sort of close to the end. We just stepped into the 90s. Yeah, I know. We'll see how long it takes me to fucking watch the next movie. Today's episode is on his breakout fucking massive success, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, this was pretty big in the early 90s. I mean, this was everywhere. It's getting parodied everywhere. You know, there's a lot going on. It put the two leads. I mean, one lead was everyone had already known a little bit about Susan Sarandon, but I think this firmly put Gina Davis on the map.
Yeah, I mean,
is this before League of Their Own?
This was, if it was, it wasn't. No. League of Their Own was, I think, a few years later. I feel like all she had to her name at this point was maybe The Fly.
Right.
I think I could be wrong. I'm checking right now. I don't know, whatever. But you know, she was in Fletch. Remember Fletch? Beetlejuice. She's the wife in Beetlejuice.
Sure.
You know, this definitely was her biggest like massive breakout kind of hit. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
her and Sarandon both getting Best Actress nominations, like in the same category in the same year. I mean,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
I remember this Oscars too, and it was.
Do you?
Yeah, it was fun Oscars.
I was not alive.
Oh no, all the '90s Oscars are just fun. I don't know. '90s were just peak. I don't know. I shouldn't dwell on it too much because I get a little nostalgic, but
sure.
This is right in my heyday. I just feel like it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And your boy Harvey's in this movie.
Yeah, like it should come as no surprise that he has my favorite moment in the whole movie, but that's okay. We'll get to that. It was very.
And also, is there a Shooter McGavin sighting?
That's right, McDonald himself,
Christopher McDonald,
playing a real piece of shit.
Awesome.
We'll get into all of this, of course. We should kick off the show like we normally do with our little movie segment, where we highlight some movies that we maybe won't be covering anytime soon, and just kind of piqued our interest. I think I'm going to go first if you're okay with that.
That's fine. I think you know what little movie I'm going to talk about.
I do. I'm very excited to get to it. That's why I want to go first and get mine out of the way. But I am covering 1989's Black Rain.
Oh.
Directed, of course, by Shohei Imamura. That's right. I'm covering the 1989 Japanese film Black Rain, not the 1989 American film Black Rain, which we covered last episode. This is a harrowing, deeply upsetting film about the atomic bombs being dropped on Japan that came out the same year as the movie that we covered.
I was gonna say same year.
Wow. There is a sequence of a literal black rain coming down from the skies because of the ash, and it's really fucked up. Get a lot of flashback sequences in this to people like moments after the bomb was dropped, and like their skin is falling off and shit. And then the rest of the movie is sort of about Japan being almost self-effacing in how they view the radiation that they've suffered, where their own citizens are being outcast due to something that was done to them instead of it's a very like almost self-punishing movie about Japan. I don't know, like trying to work through this and ostracizing people who have suffered from it is very bizarre.
Sounds intense.
I wouldn't suggest everyone run out and see Black Rain. I watched it because I'm just a huge fan of Japanese cinema, and like this felt like a funny thing to do. But it's good. It's really good. It's just, you know,
really good.
It's really good. It's just one of those movies where it's like, probably won't revisit that one.
No, it's a bit heavy for
it's
Sunday
really,
afternoon.
Really harsh. So, Black Rain though, check it out. Both Ridley Scott's and Shoei Imamura's versions. Very different films. Very different films.
Got a little chapter in the flag for last week too, or last episode,
last year. I don't literally.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So okay. So what are you bringing to the table?
Well, we both had seen it. I just decided to use it for mine since I just recently watched it. I think it was only a couple days ago. But it's Avatar: The Way of Water.
It's so
hold for applause.
It's so goddamn good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, that's the biggest thing I took away. Actually, surprisingly enough, the biggest thing I took away was how damn good Zoe Saldana is as an actress, even with all that CGI.
Okay, all right. Absolutely. She's incredible, but she was incredible in the first movie. If you go back and watch her performance in the first movie, it's stunning. And she has a lot. She has a lot more to do in the first movie. You know who's kind of the fucking standout of this movie, aside from the obvious Sigourney Weaver playing a fucking 14-year-old and then like totally killing every fucking second on screen time. She's so good in this. Sam Worthington rules in this movie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go Stephen Lang.
No, I don't. My whole problem with the Avatar movies is I think that villain is fucking boring, and I'm like very fed up with him. Like, okay, I get it. You're like the I'm the bad guy because I'm evil, and I'm like, okay, but no, Sam Worthington's so fucking good in the second movie. He's very clearly a lot more comfortable with the technology than he was in the first movie. I think he kind of sucks in the first movie. I think he's really hitting his stride in this one. I like him a lot in this movie.
See, I've never been impressed by him in anything
he's
ever done.
I've been less than I've thought he was quite a hack.
I think there's a reason why he's kind of disappeared.
Yeah, he's not a very interesting actor.
Yeah,
he's like the boring Joel Edgerton, which like
that's already boring.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton already a very understated actor, and it's like you're doing less than that. I don't know what what you're gonna get out of me, but I thought he was great in this movie, and you and I had a very we shared that excitement over that one line he has.
Oh yeah, that line is money. I mean, James Cameron has this innate ability to just put like just the most dynamite line at the right time, right at the climax. And it's
what I can appreciate about Cameron is the line is never like good. It's never like, oh, man, how did he write that? That was really like layered and awesome. It's always just like the most bro-y, like macho shit you can imagine. But you're right. He just drops it in right at the right second. And it's always
I get overdrive, man.
Yeah, it's exactly. So yeah. That's great. I saw this movie 2 times in theaters. The second time I saw it made me cry. the movies are alive and well, and I'm so happy that James Cameron is just going to do this for seemingly the rest of his life, because I think this is where he needs to be.
If the theaters are going to stay open, he's going to be a big reason why.
Oh, he's a big reason. Yeah, him and I don't know, Tom Cruise. I guess that's about it.
James Cameron, Tom Cruise, and Disney.
Yeah,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, their Marvel movies are
that's just because they bought everything. That's just monopoly. That's not fair. Also, we'll say big dip for last year for Disney, because both Top Gun and Avatar took the 1 and 2 spot for top gross movies of the year, and Marvel not showing up super heavy last year. Like even Black Panther kind of underperformed for what was expected.
Well, I think
people are bored of their output.
Yeah, no, burnt out of superheroes in general. Just it's a lot.
You know, burnout, I understand, because like they are kind of punishingly, releasing shit constantly, and like at some point, even the most devoted fans have got to be like, okay, like sure, we're gonna get what's this next movie? Okay, but like also like the movies are starting to suck shit. Like they're getting worse.
Oh, you didn't like Black Panther?
No, I didn't care for it. I thought it was okay. There were moments that I thought were good, but it looks like shit. Like all of the fucking action sequences are, I don't know. I remember a lot of people complaining about the de-aging techniques in The Irishman and how fake it looked. You remember this? Obviously,
that was me. That was me.
Right.
It looked like Robert De Niro was walking with a board in his back.
I want you to I mean, he's too old to be. Yeah, of course, you can't fake that, right? But there are moments in Black Panther where like people will be fighting on screen and it will be full body CGI and it looks like PS2 like dynamic movement. Like it's no, just I take my fucking word for it. And then also there's all these scenes with like whales jumping out of the water again that look like, Jaws the video game, where it's like a cutscene of like a shitty like rendered shark like flopping out of the water. And then of course you go see The Way of Water and you're like,
well yeah,
no one has any excuse. No one has an excuse. If he can do this, why can't you? If he's taking the time to do this, why can't you?
Well, he spent 13 years or something doing it, right? 12 years.
No. He didn't spend all that time doing it.
Well, at least 6 straight years.
Okay, take more time to make movies. Make these movies look fucking better.
I get it.
Because releasing 5 of them a year and none of them connecting, pretty rough.
After seeing how good The Way of Water looks, I mean, the bar has been raised
again.
Like, yeah, this is what he does with his movies.
This is my whole take is I think he should be forced to re-release Avatar and now Avatar 2 every 10 years until someone else meets him. Like every 10 years, we should be seeing a James Cameron movie be re-released during the summer just to be like, hey, still no one's caught up, huh? Nothing?
Like,
okay,
this
cool.
This is what this is what you should strive for.
And like no one's gotten close.
Well, knowing James Cameron, he will do that.
I'm fine with that. Titanic's getting released in February. You know where I'm going to be? At the movies.
Is he re-releasing it again?
I don't know if he is, but like, yeah, I think the studios are really re-releasing it for like Valentine's Day. And my Valentine's Day is going to be great. It's going to be that and fucking Magic Mike's Last Dance. It's going to be a great Valentine's Day for me.
Oh, there's a third one coming out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep, it's his last dance.
Is it, though? I'm
know.
sure if a good song comes on, he might dance some more.
Yeah, that's true. He might dance some more. You're right. All right, should we get out of the water and get into the desert?
Yeah, little movie, Avatar: The Way of Water. Go see it.
It's just a little movie. That's all. It's not the biggest movie ever made, but that's fine.
I think it's number 14 right now. He said it needs to be.
He's greenlit. He's greenlit the sequels already.
Oh, right.
I think today, or maybe it was yesterday evening, he said, yeah, this movie's made enough. I can't wiggle out of this. I have to make the sequels now. Which is like,
oh yeah, I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 to 7 years.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Can't wait. All right. Well, let's shift into a little bit of a lower gear and talk about Thelma and Louise. You excited?
Let's do it.
Thelma.
I'll get it.
Thelma, have not told you I can't stand it when you holler in the morning.
I'm sorry, doll. I just didn't want you to be late. Hey, how you doing, little housewife?
Louise.
Yeah, I still have to ask Daryl if I can go. You mean you haven't asked him yet? Thelma, is he your husband or your father?
Thelma and Louise are going fishing.
How come Daryl let you go? Because I didn't ask him. He's gonna kill you. I left him a note.
Thelma and Louise are going to catch hell.
I'll have a wild turkey straight up and a Coke back, please.
Thelma.
Oh, what? Tell me something. Is this my vacation or isn't it?
Okay, so Thelma and Louise, talk to me about it. Is this your first time watching it?
Second time. I
Okay.
watched it a long time ago when it first came out. I remember going to Blockbuster Video, renting it. Not me, but my mom chose
Sure.
that. And
how old would you have been in 1991?
4.
Probably 92. Probably 92 if you got it from Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll go 5. We'll run
5 years.
5.
5 years old. 6'3" Brent walks into a Blockbuster.
Sure. Hits his head.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And this is the second time you've seen it.
Yeah.
This is my first viewing of Thelma and Louise. I've never seen this movie before. I don't know why.
Well, there was a lot that I didn't remember, obviously, but the iconic parts that I did remember, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, there might be a few.
But the things I can appreciate now are, I think Ridley Scott took his time to really make it to show you how important the relationship is between the two main characters. This whole movie, I mean, the movie doesn't work without the strength of their relationship. I mean, hence the freaking title of the movie.
I mean, yeah, of course.
And specifically in the beginning, just little things, just her going on vacation. Just it felt like fun, And right off the bat, it's gorgeous. It's cinematography.
Yeah, the cool thing about this movie to me, is of course the central. I mean, it's a great buddy movie, and they nail that. They get you invested in their friendship very, very early on. Get you very invested in their dynamic of who plays what parts in the relationships, and then you get out into the desert, and it's just these incredible vistas. You're watching some sort of John Ford Western as these two women rampage across the fucking, the South or whatever, Midwest, South. I don't know where that is. Oklahoma is
mid, Southwest,
just the mid.
It's the Grand Canyon, so Southwest.
Well, it ends in the Grand Canyon, but it starts in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Should I do the rest of the episode like Jeannie Davis?
Oh God, no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the film was obviously directed by Ridley Scott, written by a woman named Callie Corey, and this was her first script ever.
Wow.
Wins the Oscar for best screenplay. Like I said, both women get nominated. Ridley Scott gets his first director nomination.
Yeah, we got Hans Zimmer back.
Hans Zimmer's back. Nothing wrong with the score. Doesn't really stand out to me too much.
I couldn't agree more. I listened to it and I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's doing whatever lifting.
It doesn't do anything to hurt the movie. It just doesn't really elevate it that much either.
So obviously Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis are the two leading roles. Who else we got? My boy, Harvey Keitel. When his name popped up in the opening credits, I started barking like a dog. I was so excited for Harvey Keitel.
I got excited for him too.
Oh, just love this boy.
Well, coming off the dude list, I'm riding high with him.
I'm riding real high. We've also got Michael Madsen.
We've
got Christopher McDonald.
Shooter.
And nuclear hot Brad Pitt in one of his earliest roles.
Yeah, this is I think his second movie.
Something like that.
So, either way, you can tell he's up and coming.
He's a baby in this movie. And he's got a hot bod, and he's fucking great and charming in it. I think he's very good in this movie.
He's funny too.
He's funny. Yeah. He's doing funny Pitt.
Yeah, he's doing funny Pitt. He's got the charm working. He's speaking into the what is it, the blow driver, acting like
doing his whole.
I mean, how can Gina Davis not just be laying on their bed thinking her life is good?
I mean, the thing is just as soon as he starts doing his bit, I'm like, she has to fuck him. I'm desperate for this to happen.
Oh, and it happens pretty hot too in the rain.
Super hot. Yeah. He shows up at her door with rain dripping down off of his fucking cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Woo, Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
he's a hottie in this one. All right, so what's the premise of this movie? Two women decide to go on vacation.
Yep, they're friends, best friends.
Thelma and Louise, you guessed it.
Then they take a little side detour, stop at a little town, have a little R&R. They want to sleep because they've been driving.
It should be noted, it's made very clear early in the movie that both of their partners are fucking bastards.
Tools.
Yeah. Thelma's husband is the worst man imaginable.
He's got to be up there for one of the most despicable characters we've had the pleasure of reviewing.
So annoying, and Christopher McDonald is just having the most fun with it.
Ooh, I always bring up the adults in Magnolia for being up there for my most despised characters that we've reviewed. I think Shooter McGavin or Christopher McDonald's character in this movie's got to be up there.
He's really, really terrible.
Yeah, he's despicable.
Yeah. And then Gina Davis's boyfriend, or not Gina Davis, I'm so sorry. Susan Sarandon's boyfriend is like a touring musician, I think. So we don't really meet him till later.
Yeah, I don't know too much about what's going on with Michael Madsen's character. He just pops up.
Yeah, he's not terrible, but he's clearly got a little bit of an anger issue, and the two of them haven't really worked out like a perfect relationship. There's obviously a lot of tension between the two of them.
Right.
They seem very on again, off again. So they're going to get away from these men and have like a fucking girls' weekend up in the mountains, and they're going to fish, even though they don't know how to fish, and like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, they just get away. Louise needs this because Christopher McDonald's a tool. So
yeah, big time. Thelma needs this. We're going to get this.
Thelma. Yeah.
So at this point in the movie, I had not seen this movie before, and I also didn't know what this movie was about. Like I didn't know fucking anything about it. I thought I was like, it's like a road movie, right? That's it. That's all I knew. So at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, things are going according to plan. I understand this. And before they leave, of course, Thelma grabs a handgun out of the drawer and is like, just going to bring this in case we run into psychopaths.
Just in case.
Yeah.
They take a nice photograph and they hit the road.
They do. They hit the road. They stop at a bar. They're having a great night dancing. Thelma is deeply flirting with this gentleman at the bar.
Man, this is obviously before girl code, because you don't do this. They're out supposed to be with each other, having fun, having drinks. Instantly, she gets, her mind is taken. This is before girl code. I'm throwing the flag.
Yeah. There's a really funny shot. And like, I don't know, the joke of the shot is just how quickly Gina Davis moves from the foreground to the background. I think it's so funny where the guy's like, oh, he's in the background. He's like, you want to dance? And like her and Susan Sarandon both step up like, okay, yeah, we're going to dance. And within a second, Gina Davis like goes off screen to the right and comes back on screen from the left, way in the background of the shot with the guy. She's like immediately like in his arms dancing. And Susan Sarandon just looks around like, what the fuck? She just left me here? Like, it's very funny how eager she is to have a good time.
Yeah.
And of course, this all backfires, and the man, takes her outside and attempts to rape her. And at this point in the movie, I'm going, she's got a gun. Is this movie about to be like a movie about like outlaws on the run? Sure enough, Susan Sarandon shows up with the gun and fucking scares the guy off. And right before they walk away, he has to say some nasty shit to them, and she just turns around and wastes him.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I was really shocked. Like as a first-time viewer, not knowing anything about this movie, I was expecting her to gun him down like while he was in the act of doing what he was doing, and she didn't. She just scares him off. And as they're walking away, he gets one final dig in, says like some nasty shit to them, and she turns around and without saying really anything, just pulls the gun out and fucking blows him away. And I'm like, oh, this is that kind of movie. Like there's going to be some real gray area. They're going to be exploring a lot of shit about what these women are going to be going through. It's awesome.
Yeah, Harland or Arland,
Harland,
whatever.
Yeah.
That guy was very good at being a complete piece of shit.
Yeah. He was also pretty.
That was the whole contentious thing back when I remember when this movie came out. Everyone was talking about, well, why didn't they just go to the cowboy? Everyone was saying just go.
Well, I mean, they answer that question.
They answer it, but the main thing is they were walking away and she turns back around. And they were walking, and that's when it becomes murder,
Yeah, of course. Well, and like, I don't know what, a scene later when they're at the motel, like trying to figure out what their next move is, she answers that question. She's like, why don't we go to the cops? She's like, everyone saw you dancing with him all night. No one's going to believe that he did that. They all, that no one's going to take your side. You're a woman. And that's what the movie's kind of about. The movie's definitely about women having to deal with the constant, like, sexual rage of men around them. And they're put in these situations where it's like, well, deal with it, and if you do anything about it, you're in the wrong. And
thank God it's not like that anymore.
Oh, thank God things are so much better now. Oh, thank goodness.
Wow.
What a fun respite. Thanks for that.
No, I do think it is kind of a time capsule for that time period, because now it is a little more believable that
it's getting there. But yeah, I mean,
compared to oh no, you can't do anything, they're not going to believe you. Like
yeah, I know. But still, like the movie has not really aged that poorly. Like its messages and its themes still pretty much hold up today, which I think is, I don't know, it's a powerful film. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go to the cops.
Harvey Keitel showing up. Of course, he's an
detective.
Arkansas. Yeah, he's an Arkansas detective from the South. And let's see what approach does Harvey take to this accent? Oh, hey, I'm Harvey Keitel from the South. I'm in Arkansas. This is my voice. So he does a real good genuine depiction of a Southern accent.
Right. Yeah.
I love him. I love him to death. He does not put in any effort. It doesn't matter.
It's a 0 for accent.
I so good. I said this in the Duelist episode where it's like you could put him in any setting and he will not sound like he's from anywhere.
Yeah,
but Brooklyn.
in the Duelist, he was supposed to be in like a 16th century
like French. He's like, hey, you and me, we're gonna fight tomorrow. It's like, okay, sweet, let's go, Harvey.
Yeah.
No, Harvey's great in this. He's not in a lot, but he plays this detective who is chasing them, and the more he learns about them, the more he sympathizes with them, which he plays. I don't know. He plays an interesting role in the movie where he's kind of taking their side, even though he's after them.
Yeah, he ultimately, I don't think he does a very good job.
At a certain point, once they cross state lines, it's sort of out of his hands. It goes over to, the power goes over to Stephen Tobolowsky and the FBI. But I don't know, his emotion in the last scene, which we'll get to, is very, I feel like he doesn't get a lot of lines to display it, but like it's very authentic. I felt very moved by him in the last scene of the movie.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of went the other way with it. I thought it was a little flat.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he only gets it's
not a lot.
Now. It's not a lot. I'll say it right now. He has this line at the end of the movie, and I don't have it written down, but all of these, snipers have cornered Thelma and Louise. They've got nowhere to go, and Harvey Keitel's begging the FBI guy to like put the guns down so he can talk to them, and things are just escalating and escalating. And Harvey Keitel kind of like runs towards them, and he looks back at the cops, and he says something along the lines of, "Haven't these women been through enough?" And the way that Keitel like delivers it, I'm just like very moved by it. Where he's like, "God, like they've both been fucking raped and like harassed by men. I've met their husband, and their husband and partner. They're both pieces of shit." Like you could just tell in like one line that he's sort of like his heart is like very much going out to them. At least I don't know. Maybe I'm giving Harvey Keitel too much credit.
No, that's right. That's all right.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt very moved by that moment. And of course, the actual final ending of the movie is like mythic. I mean, it's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Like it goes there. It's great.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, Thelma and Louise kill themselves.
Yeah, they drive off a cliff. They just keep going. It's great. It's so good. They hold each other's hands. They give each other a platonic kiss on the mouth as best friends, and then they drive off to their deaths.
I do vividly remember watching this as a youth and wishing there's about 15 more seconds. I don't know. I was in action movies big time back then.
You wanted everyone to gun them down and shit?
No, just a big ball of fire as it hits the canyon floor.
No, that's the whole point. That's the point. You don't see their death.
I know. Now I'm okay with I'm okay with the fade to white. It's almost like a fade to heaven.
Well, there was a brief second at the end where I thought like, yeah, this isn't going to be great, because I thought it was going to be fade to white into the flashbacks and then fade back into the movie. And I love that it goes fade to white into the flashbacks, immediately runs the credits as the flashbacks are rolling to let you know, like, nope, that's it. Like, I thought we were going to see like the car wrecked, or we were going to see them driving away or something. And I'm glad that the movie just leaves them hanging in the air, like at their most triumphant moment.
Sure.
I like it. It's
no,
good.
I know why he did. I know why he did it.
Butch
it looks
Cassidy.
Good.
It's literally the ending of Butch Cassidy. And like, he totally like took that dynamic and perfectly transposed it onto like modern women, fleeing across the countryside.
There's something about, and I agree with everything you just said, but there's just something about suicide being connected to triumph.
It's not suicide that he's it's not about that. It's not literally like about their deaths. It's about their autonomy and like their agency to keep going,
But they didn't keep going.
They did. They kept going. They kept going as far as they possibly could. They didn't give up. That was the whole thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I know. They gave up their lives.
They did. I mean, their lives had already been given up. That's the whole thing. What were they going to do? Go to prison? Go back to these shitty men? Fuck it. They're best friends. They should stay together, hold each other's hands, and just go off into the sunset together. It's great. Great ending.
I don't know. There's something about the suicide.
I don't think you should think of it as suicide. They didn't put a gun to each other's heads. They drove triumphantly off of a cliff in their supercar. It's great. It's so good. I
think this is my thing. I think if we would have just held the shot for 20 more seconds and seen them crash, then
it would be a different movie.
Everyone would think it's a different movie and would view these two psychopaths. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Oh man. Okay. Psychopaths. Oh no.
No, they're just a little unchained, but they were forced into that life. I get what put him in that position.
It's so good. I love the ending of this movie. Let's talk about some other things that happen along the way.
Well, it's gorgeous and it's professionally done. The whole movie. I think by this time we know every single movie that Ridley. He just knows how to make good looking movies at this point. It's like 5, 6 or 6, whatever. But the thing is,
like, he came out the fucking gate with that ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Duelists looks unbelievable, and he just keeps building upon that. So yeah, when you get to this point, it's like, okay, well,
with the beautiful desert landscape shots.
Oh man, he really captures like the mythology of sort of the American, landscape. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting all these beautiful shots of like plateaus and deserts and open
he does really showcase America in this movie, because it's a traveling across the country movie too, so he gets the chance to do that. But there's not too many buddy. I don't want to say buddy cop, buddy criminal, or what did the word you said?
Outlaws.
Buddy outlaw movie.
Yeah,
Bonnie and Clyde.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. It's definitely. I think the cool thing about this movie is like you said, Bonnie and Clyde. I've said Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Those movies are iconic and mythic, right? They're about the myth of the American outlaw, and Bonnie and Clyde kind of subverts it, and so does Butch Cassidy in a way. But like, it's about these almost godlike characters in our history that existed. Yeah. And I think what's cool about Thelma Louise is he takes that level of respect and admiration and awe of those kind of characters, and he puts it on these two women, just normal women from modern America, and he elevates them to that status. And I feel like by the end of the movie, like, I mean, I don't know if you feel that way too, but like the end of the movie, when they do drive off the cliff, I do almost feel like I want to go and like just be like, God, Thelma and Louise, those are two fucking legends, man. Like, their story is just so inspiring. Like, it just immediately hits me the same way that all of those American outlaws did from way back when. Do you feel that way? Like, when you watch this movie, do you feel like the kind of grandiose nature of how he's building them up?
So for the thing with these characters, of all the movies that we've reviewed so far, these characters are the most human. Like, we spend the most time with these two. Like, we really get to know like a lot about these characters. We've, the nuances of them, like Thelma, I mentioned, like how she's a quick learner, how it seemed like she was pretty much any new scene she's in, she's learning something new. It was almost like, and you really get a sense of that wonder from Geena Davis. She blew me away with her performance.
So good in this. She's
really good in this. Like, I always think Susan Sarandon is great. I think she's just a queen. But I mean, I thought Geena Davis was a superstar here, playing that kind of that naivety to a T. So for me, it was just Ridley Scott really made the most human characters I've seen from him yet.
Easily, I think the couple of times that he's tried to do lower scale stuff, he comes out the gate with these big genre movies, and then he's like, I'm going to make something a little bit smaller, and then he makes Someone to Watch Over Me, which is like, nothing. You get Lorraine Bracco, and that's about it.
Yeah, the only other person I could think of would be Deckard from Blade Runner. You see a little bit.
Yes, so yeah, but like still very genre, not very disconnected from what we understand to be like real humans. Yeah. But I feel like this movie is as big as it is, which is a very big movie. It's got a huge scope and this big traveling almost travelogue of the American West, I guess. For all of that, it does really, really succeed in the like human characters. Like they feel so real and so lived in. I feel like Geena Davis the most, almost, because you get to see her whole arc of being this downtrodden sort of like numb housewife, and the second that she gets out, she has that great monologue where she's like, I feel like awake for the first time, like I'm really awake right now. And
it's frustrating because like that, I mean, that's why it hurts so bad when that fade to white hits and they instantly go into that photograph of them. Like, you're like, oh, I miss them when they're like that. But at the same time, you don't, because they've been through so much. And it's like, I don't know, do you feel like they would have gone through with it? Like, I feel like almost like Louise really smart enough not to do that. I don't know. Like Thelma, wild, she's going through a lot.
I think that I think them driving off the cliff is in a way the only logical thing that they could do. Like in my eyes, just at that point in the story when I'm following them, and I'm just like,
you're in the back seat with them. They really look back at you.
I'm going.
And you're
go.
nodding.
I'm saying go. Let's go.
Floor it.
Floor it, baby. Let's go. I put my hand on theirs. It's great. No, really though. I was watching it yesterday, and I was just in that moment. I'm thinking like, I hope they do it. I hope that she drives off the fucking cliff. Like I really want her to do it. I want them to die way, but like I said, it feels like their only way to escape. And I'm going to use a word that's very overused, the patriarchy right now. You know what I mean? Like it's the only way for them to get away from these fucking men is to just hold each other's hand and just soar away.
Yeah, I mean,
it has a very mythological ending. It has an ending that is not giving.
I think in '93, yeah, that it is. That is there now. No, it's everyone's better than that. What?
I buy it. I buy it. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you don't need to do that ending now. I don't think, but like, yeah, I buy it. I buy it so hard in this movie. I love it. I think it's great.
Well, looking at it, Rotten Tomatoes, critics 86%. Audience 82%. Everyone liked it. Budget $16.5 million, and on the flip side, it made $45.4 million.
Easy money for Ridley.
He's on the up.
This is good. This is good for him because he, like you said, like Black Rain, pretty good hit, but before that, he was struggling at the box office at least.
But this is a couple now. Now he's got a couple pretty significant titles under his belt
and Oscar success with this movie.
Yeah, this was his breakthrough for the Oscars. So
it was. Yep. Any other moments in the movie? We did skip a lot. Like we didn't talk about Brad Pitt being an outlaw, which totally inspires Gina Davis to do the same. And she has that. I want to talk about the great jump cut scene where they are sitting outside that convenience store and Thelma goes inside. And Gina's sitting there for a minute. Or God, I keep saying Gina. Gina is Thelma. Louise is sitting there for a minute, and then Thelma runs out and she's like, drive. And she's got a bag of money. And you're like, oh my God, she just fucking robbed the place. And Louise asks her, what did you say? And she said, I said, and then it cuts to the VCR footage of her giving the exact speech that Brad Pitt gave her. Like she just stole the script word for word. And she's just doing it with so much joy in that scene. I love that.
And he's loving it. He's sitting there watching. They're showing him
they tell him about exactly. It's so good. Yeah, and Christopher McDonald's watching it with like a gape, like what the fuck is going on with my wife?
Oh, and he tries to attack him. He's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he tries to get Brad Pitt. Yep. Brad Pitt would have whooped the fucking shit out of him.
Come on.
God. Yeah, so I mean, Brad Pitt's an outlaw that steals their money. It just again sets them back on their heels.
Oh, you get this really cool explosion. One of the at the time a monster.
Good. I will say this movie is not good for truck driver representation. As a truck driver myself, I just want to ensure everyone we aren't out there, harassing women on the roads. We don't do that.
I don't know. It seems like it's pretty frequent.
Whoa, hey, whoa. Well, at least I'm not. I don't know if you ever see a Mohawk truck driving by.
What do they run in? They run into that truck driver 3-4 times.
Yeah, many times. Yeah, they keep getting ahead of and falling behind him. And finally they fucking pull him over and they're like, yeah, let's pull over, let's have some fun. And then they just I love that they don't attack him. They just berate him and talk down to him like he's a child.
Like he's a lowly piece of trash.
It's
like
so
the way that he treats women on the road in particular. They wanted him to feel that kind of like that way too.
Then they shoot up his fucking fuel truck and it's a massive explosion. It's so funny.
Huge bomb.
It's so funny. Like a fuel truck would explode, but I feel like no way would it be that big.
Ridley Scott was like, whatever it is, make it times 10.
Yeah, exactly. Double it again, and then double it again. Let's go. That truck blows up like 3 times. It's so funny.
Looked awesome.
Looked great. Like he was right to do it.
Wasn't it excess? No,
I don't think so.
No.
He got what he deserved, and I'm glad that we saw it.
As soon as it blew up, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's rules. You also got the really, really funny scene where the cop pulls them over and Thelma follows him to the car and puts the gun to his head and talks him out, and they put him in the trunk and he starts crying and stuff.
Yeah, I felt bad for him.
I felt bad for him too. I thought it was so funny.
I was worried too. I was like, I hope he doesn't die in there.
I knew he would. I knew she wasn't gonna kill him. I like as soon as Luis got his gun, I was like, okay, they're just gonna like lock him up or like whatever. It was just he started crying. He's like,
but wasn't it that was in the desert heat in the trunk? I was worried for him.
And then the weird scene is that biker comes by and like blows a joint into the trunk. You remember
what was that?
That was bizarre. That was very strange. I don't know what that was at all.
Well, I mean, at that point, you're not letting the cop out after you just did that, right? So So someone else, you would have had to wait for two guys to come along.
That's what I'm saying. And like, I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke about like racial relations between black people and the cops. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, is like a black man comes along and finds a cop locked in a trunk, and instead of letting him free, he like blows some weed, smoke into the trunk and leaves because he has no respect for the cop, or he's like, I'm not going to help the cop. But like, there's no comment made. You know what I mean? It's very weird. It's a really weird scene.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to try to make sense of that. I mean,
I was trying to. I
mean, what did it mean? What came after? What? Just let's let it go. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
93 for you. Wasn't that the 90, LA riots?
91.
Well, whenever. I know
Maybe, I don't know what that. It's a really weird scene.
Let's not.
Okay, we could just move on. Okay. Anything else about this movie you wanted to touch base on?
Not really. I think we've covered a lot of it. Just how badass the two leads were.
They're so good in it.
That's all I've taken away pretty much, and just how rock stars they both were. Specifically Gina Davis, even though I love Susan Sarandon.
No, Susan's really good in this. She's very like Gina Davis gets to play the outlaw more than Susan Sarandon, because Susan Sarandon has to play the level-headed one in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to put a bunch of attributes in a hat, Gina Davis's Thelma got the fun ones. You got the
kinda, yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, Susan Sarandon's Louise almost, I feel like, had the smart attribute.
For sure. She's definitely the more like level-headed.
Well, not level-headed, not enough to commit suicide.
All right. We gotta, it's not literal. I don't know. Whatever. I do have one more like talking point I wanted to ask you about. So there's this backstory that we don't really get from Susan Sarandon, where we're led to believe that she was probably raped in Texas.
Oh, right.
And she doesn't want to even drive through Texas to get to Mexico, which leads to a really funny scene of both Gina Davis and me screaming at the screen going, how the fuck are you going to get to Mexico without going through Texas when you're in Oklahoma? Like, it's insane that she like refuses to go through the state of Texas to get to Mexico.
Biggest state.
And it's like Oklahoma, then Texas, everywhere, and then Mexico. You have to go through Texas. It's insane, which is why they end up in the Grand Canyon, because she needs to go around. But you get this sort of like vague hint at a backstory, and then like Harvey Keitel calls her on the phone and is like, I know what happened to you in Texas, but you never learn what actually happens. Like you get a minute where Gina Davis starts pestering her, and Susan Sarandon like literally stops the car, and she's like, we're not going to talk about it. You understand? Also, I love that scene too. This is what I wanted to ask you. Do you think Thelma had killed a man in Texas?
Louise.
Let me rephrase that. Do you think Louise had killed a man in Texas?
No.
No?
No.
So here's what I'm thinking. I don't know if I know one way or another, but I think she was clearly raped.
Yes. She says that as much.
She doesn't say it, but she does sort of like, like she says, I'm not going to talk about it in a way where it's like, okay, we know that that's sort of probably something happened like that. And she's been avoiding the state altogether, right? She shoots that guy in like cold blood, basically, and walks away from it. And part of me thinks that she maybe had went through everything that she said Gina Davis was going to go through, where she was like, they're not going to believe you. You were seen dancing with him. No one's going to believe this happened to you. And I feel like maybe she went through a similar thing and either did kill the guy or really regretted not killing the guy, which kind of leads to her like sudden snap when the guy like has, what does he say? Like, suck my dick or something like that. And she pulls the gun out and shoots him. And I feel like that is all rooted in her backstory, where she maybe wishes she had done that earlier, or had done it earlier and is like already knew about it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like almost exactly everything that had happened was going to happen, and that she didn't regret getting the chance to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think she killed him before. I think she was just not believed.
Yeah.
And specifically, that's why she's okay going on the run. It's one of the catalysts. But yeah, I don't think she killed someone, and got away with it. That's why she just, and that actually makes a lot of sense for why why it all turns out the way it does. If this was the first time they're going, they justify it with their reasons not going to the cops. But if she had gone to the cops previously and it not worked out, and this would make perfect sense.
It makes a lot more sense for why she would be so reticent to even, Yeah, okay. Because I like that they don't get into it. I like that they sort of leave that thread untouched.
A little vague. Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool. It's a good call.
Well, it's good. And it's also you get that little just enough backstory for Ridley Scott to develop them a little more.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, these characters have a lot of they've got a lot of pathos and like backbone to them. It's really interesting.
Just like even I talk about Susan Sarandon not really being quite as effective as Gina Davis here, but she does have those moments to shine, like when she has that, when she's that Texas scene, or she's a bit vulnerable with Michael Madsen. He's barely in it, but
they have a really interesting relationship.
Yeah, like
it was.
I think you're right about like he's probably cheated on her a bunch, but she's not like leaving. It's just a checkered past. But you also get the sense that he's dependable because as soon as she called, not only did he send it, he showed up.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's I don't know, and he's obviously got anger issues because he starts throwing shit around the room, but he doesn't hit her. Like it's they have a really interesting relationship, and I'm glad that like we got to see the little bit of what we did. It just adds more layers to Thelma, I think.
Yeah.
Or Louise. God damn it.
But it's fine. It was a little. It was. The movie was slightly Thelma heavy.
Yeah.
Compared to Louise.
Well, the movie is sort of about one woman being fed up with the life she's had to live, and then it's also about another woman realizing that she could live a whole new life. Like Thelma is getting her eyes opened and getting to spread her wings for the first time, whereas Louise,
or legs, whatever.
Hey, do it both, honey.
Budding.
Good for you. Get it. Brad Pitt comes knocking on my door. I'm not saying no. And then of course Louise, who has been through so much shit, she has already spread her wings and has maybe been shot down. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting dynamic the two of them have, and like definitely Gina Davis gets to be the more, firecracker of the two.
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I always, because Gina Davis is like 6 foot, right? She's 6
Gina Davis is a tall goddess. Yes.
I think I always thought she looked a little weird when I was.
She has an insane face. Like
okay.
Her face is unbelievable. Like it's gorgeous and so chiseled, and like she has these absurd angles on her cheeks and like these big lips. Like she's so, and then of course her hair is huge. Like she's just this exotic looking, like I said, goddess figure. It's incredible.
But yeah, I definitely, I think she's prettier than I did when I was a kid.
Yeah, Gina Davis. They're both all-time hotties. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Susan Sarandon. I've always thought she was
fucking a legend, an absolute legend. Yeah. All right, cool. So Thelma and Louise, we both liked it. I feel like I'm coming out higher than you were almost.
I think we're going to come to the same grade here. Ready? It's going to be.
You go.
Are we doing? Okay,
yeah, you go first.
I'm going to give Thelma and Louise 4 stars.
Same here. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah,
I think it's really, really good. I don't have like big complaints about it. It's just a little dated in its style sometimes. And I don't know, probably would have loved to have seen, like, as honestly as good as Ridley is telling the story, would have loved to have seen a woman handle this too, just to get even more like under that skin, you know. But I can't deny that Ridley Scott's kind of like, 91, like making like kind of an awesome feminist movie. Like, okay, King, like let's go.
He put
of course, Ripley like, like that's he's definitely not averse to like centering women, which is very cool.
Yeah, women can be badass, and he has no problem showing that. Yeah, it's a sweet, good movie. It's just a fun. It's not necessarily fun. There are some fun moments.
Oh, it's fun.
There are fun moments. It's a bit fun. Heavy. Most of the movie, I was more frustrated than anything.
Ooh, I was having a blast. Their friendship is so fun.
It's charming. It's
so fun. That scene where they finally end up picking up Brad Pitt and Gina Davis turns to Susan Sarandon and starts whimpering like a dog. It's so fun. Funny. And she starts panting when she says yeah. It's so fucking fun. They're such good friends. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, a little cutie.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's more than anything, it's just a very character driven, beautiful movie, well shot, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Me too. Good movie. One of the better ones that we've covered of his.
What do we got next?
A movie I've kind of been dreading watching just because it's like 2.5 hours long and sounds like a piece of shit. It's called 1492 Conquest of Paradise.
Oh,
and it's a Christopher Columbus like biopic starring fucking Gerard Depardieu.
Oh no.
Yeah, baby.
Oh no.
Ridley swinging high off of this movie and just plummets into the depths.
Oh man, didn't he just go to jail for like?
Yeah, I think Gerard Depardieu's in big trouble. So like, I don't know.
This is gonna be awful.
Yeah, and I think this movie's a slog. It
No,
looks
we
so.
can't. We got to go in blind.
I mean, listen, I
Hey,
don't know.
if I
anything
watch Praying with Anger with an open mind,
You're right. You're right. We've watched harder to watch movies.
Man,
we can do this.
Well, but let me write down. Who's your favorite character? Was it Thelma or was it Louise?
Oh, it was Thelma.
Okay, yeah,
it was Thelma.
Thelma was also mine.
Even though I'm a bit more of a Louise, it was definitely Thelma.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about does it.
Does that do it?
I think it does.
Oh, we finally recorded an episode.
Well, we'll see you again in 8 months.
Hey, I'm gonna try to be better. I got really into music again, and plus Oscar season's kicking up, so I had to be at the movies like every fucking weekend trying to get caught up, and the holidays just happened. It was tough. It was tough to find free time to do this.
My buddy's got a lot of hobbies. You got to give him a break.
It fucking sucks. It sucks being interested in things.
It's all right. It's better than not being interested in anything.
That's very true. That's very true.
But like always, thank you for listening. Comment. Also review with us if you want to rate them. Tell us your ratings. Tell us why.
Yeah, you know? I mean, we're on YouTube. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube. And feel free to like comment on our YouTube page. Give us some, whatever suggestions on stuff.
Constructive advice. We'll read it.
I'm not going to I am not reading YouTube comments on this fucking podcast. I'll read your reviews on iTunes if you review us on iTunes.
Yeah, there we go.
I will read those, and you can follow us on Instagram. I haven't really been on our Twitter in many months, so I would just say that's dormant.
Hey, you know what?
On Facebook. Yeah, I guess is that it? No closing thoughts. We're all good to go, and we're gonna go back to 1492 and travel the ocean blue with Christopher Columbus next.
1492.
Conquest of Paradise.
That's what we're doing next on the next episode. So Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Goodbye.